Jews do between children when the woman is not supposed to get pregnant yet? In other words, the couple just had a baby, and they haven't had the next baby yet, right?
Yeah.
And now, I don't know what she means by when the woman is not supposed to get pregnant yet. Not according to Torah. Torah has no problem with her getting pregnant the next day. Well, wait a minute. Let me rephrase that. Torah doesn't have a problem to her getting pregnant soon.
Yeah.
Right? There's no time period where she's not allowed to get pregnant. There's a problem of them doing it together and not touching. And it depends on if they had a boy or a girl. You're familiar with this?
Yeah, different waiting periods.
There's a different waiting period between if you had a boy, if you had a girl. You wait longer if you had a girl. If you had a boy, I learned all this a couple years ago when I got engaged.
It's like a month for a boy.
How do you know this stuff if you're never engaged?
It's like twice. I've studied Torah.
Okay, I think it was 7 days for a boy, and 14 days for a girl.
Yeah, twice as much for a girl.
14 days for a girl, and I think that there's some opinions that are really mocking, but I don't think we follow them. That they add a month onto it too, something like that. It's like a month and a 7, and a month and a 14, or something like that.
Out of sympathy for the wife, so that her husband's voracious sexual desires don't absolutely destroy her when she's still healing from.
Well, that is true. It's like you talk to any woman who's had kids, and they would say who would ever want to get near a woman who just had kids? She's bleeding still, and all this stuff, right? So the truth is, she has to stop bleeding, and we count the 7 from the time she stops bleeding. That's a whole thing, Anita.
Yeah.
I had to learn all these halachas when I was engaged.
Yeah.
Okay, so what am I talking about?
Sex.
So, what do they use between children when the woman's not supposed to get pregnant yet? Now, I don't understand the question. Is my answer? I don't know what they're allowed to get pregnant right away, right after they're allowed to start touching. So, give them a couple weeks, and they go back at it again. I don't understand.
Can the wife just give her husband a hand job if like she's still feeling ripped up in there?
If she's Nita, they can't touch.
I know, but if she's not Anita, but she doesn't want to get penetrated because she's just been ripped up by having a baby. Can you say, honey, how about a hand job tonight?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I don't see why not. If they're not Nita,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't see what the problem is with that. Hey, wait a minute. Not a hand job. Not a hand job.
She can't give him a hand job.
No, we're not allowed to do hand jobs.
But if they really love each other.
We're going to talk about that.
Okay.
We're going to talk about that in this week's Parsha, because I got to dispel a bunch of myths here. It's a continuation of last week. Hand jobs are no good. But she could...
I've had some great ones.
No, I mean halakhically.
Before I became
halakhically,
a Jew.
hand jobs are bad news. But she could give him a blow job.
Really? She can give him a blow job, but not a hand job?
Right.
Who knew?
Right. Hand jobs are bad. We're going to talk about that. And we're going to educate you today. Okay, so that's the answer to Les, if you want a real answer to your question, you got to clarify what your question is, because I don't know what you mean by when the woman is not supposed to get pregnant yet. There's no such concept in Torah. Now you say, why do Jews call it a Bible? And the truth is that we don't call it a Bible. That's a Goyim who called it the Bible. And I only use it occasionally to refer to, so that Goyim and Jews who don't know what, so I can speak the language of man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You say Tanakh, people will...
Yeah, exactly. Until everybody in the world knows what Tanakh is, I'll say Bible. Does the Torah forbid nakedness? Yes.
Well, publicly. I mean, you're supposed to get naked. It encourages nakedness in the shower.
Oh, well, I assume that's what, yeah, public nakedness. No, you shouldn't let people see you naked.
Can a Jewish wife who doesn't want to have sex with her husband arrange for him to have sex with a concubine?
No. There's no heter. There's no exemption.
I got a heter from a major Rav.
There's no heter from a I'll put it this way: the same major Rav who said that I could marry a woman and not have kids.
Yeah.
Right. Who said I should masturbate.
Yeah.
He said that you can't have a girlfriend or concubine or anything like that. There's no room in Torah for that. Okay, so that answers all the questions from last week's what is it called? Chat room. Now we can talk about the Torah portion, or you wanted to talk about something else. You said Something about the TSA. You said should Rabs and I talk about that?
Oh,
You talk now. I'm watching.
so
this game's a blowout.
It's 28-7.
This game's over.
So when
I told you by the. Oh, I didn't tell you. I said to somebody else. San Diego. I said San Diego was going to kill him. Did we have this? We have their number.
as we're jetting around the country, you know, we have to confront numerous screenings. But I just don't think that any of the people delivering the screenings are hot, and they're almost always of the same sex. So, frankly, I just walk through the X-ray machine
Have you
rather
done
than
that?
get a full body pat down. No, but I'm just like putting myself in that situation, which seems to have gotten so many people hot and bothered.
I don't. You know. I have mixed feelings about this whole thing. You want me to say my piece?
Mm-hmm.
First of all, I should disclose that my family works for TSA.
Well, because normally those guys strike me as dumb as bricks.
No, hey, wait a second. No. I'll tell you what it is. My nephew.
Mm-hmm.
That's shout out number one.
Mm-hmm.
My nephew Yaakov.
Mm-hmm.
Say hi, Yaakov.
Hi, Yaakov.
Okay, very good. He is an engineer behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
He actually designs these systems for passenger.
So he's not as dumb as rocks.
No. He's one of the guys behind the scenes. You never see him.
So he's not an affirmative action hire.
No.
Because most of them seem as dumb as rocks in affirmative action hires.
No, this
like
guy.
how could we get the stupidest people administering airport security? Like people who couldn't get employed in the real world have to be affirmative action hires.
You know what the TSA stands for? Thousands standing around.
Is that for sure?
Yeah, it's just welfare worker. You know, but that's my attitude about the whole government. The whole government is just a bunch of welfare.
Post office, ever go to the post office?
Oh my God!
Horrible service you get from more affirmative action hires. Their average salary is over $80,000 a year with benefits.
The only thing good about the post office, we don't pay for them in taxes.
How is the post office like a shoe store? You can find more than 1,000 black loafers.
Okay, I'm not gonna do black jokes tonight. Okay, here's what's going on. My nephew he may have, but he can't tell me because he signed an NDA. You know what that is?
Yeah, non-disclosure.
Right.
agreement.
So he can't tell me if he actually is part of the team that designed these new X-ray
Right,
things.
right.
But let's just say that he did. I don't know for a fact that he did.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You can't blame him. You know, those things do what they're supposed to do. They get specs. They get specs that from the White House, and the White House says, okay, we want you to make it so that you X-ray, and then they provide the deliverables. I don't like when people take shots at the TSA and say this is all TSA's fault. This is not the TSA's fault. This is the fault of two bad administrations in a row in the White House who are afraid to say the truth. And until the time that this country gets its collective rear end out of its ass, gets its head out of its ass, right? And it takes and stop with the PC nonsense, right? Mm-hmm. And just say, look, the enemy is Islam. Everyone who has attacked us on airplanes over the last 25 years do it in the name of Islam. They are always people with ties. They're either directly foreigners or they have ties to foreign governments. Mm-hmm. These are people who showed up on these lists or whatever. Mm-hmm. They follow Islam and they usually have dark skin and they're usually Arab, mm-hmm. right?
Yeah.
I said it, right? These are the people you have to focus on, right? Mm-hmm. But I don't blame TSA when they shake down, the little white kid or the old grandma, because they're doing their job as per the White House, right?
Yeah.
It's not their fault. People have misdirected their blame, and it shouldn't be on TSA, it should be on the White House. And the White House problem is you. Because until the American people are willing to stand up and admit that we are fighting Islam, and Islam is the problem, and people who follow Islam are the problem, we are paying the price. We are going to continue to pay the price. Next, they're going to want to anally, probe us. And what's next? They're going to do like a catheter probe up your urethra. And I've had that before. and
did you like
it is not fun. Okay.
Did you do it just for giggles? Or
No, I did it.
you had a disease?
No, they were testing my
Sexual
prostate
disease.
from the front. You never want your prostate.